Now, um, remember that target, SQ, those are all going to have SSRs on it. So short sale restriction. Apple MU will not. So that makes our job a little bit easier. Just keep that in mind. Apple pull right there, right to the low, quick. Things really weak. So about 90 seconds till the open. All right, so this SQ is actually setting up pretty nicely, but just keep in mind it's got the SSR on it. Apple looks good as well. Let's see how we open here. Just remember, be quick to cut it. It's not working. SPY at the VWAP, rejecting the VWAP. We've got the support at basically 265, so keep that in mind. I'm going to switch to fast time frames on a lot of these right now because of where we're basically triggering on everything. Apple, hard sell here real quick. Wow. All over the place. Massive volume. Then you put pop. Let's just see what happens here for a minute. SPY's going. Apple. See what this does here on this retest. Market's going. I'm short Apple, guys. Short Apple here, 177, 70s and 80s so far. Just a very small starter. I'm anticipating that the SPY is going to break 265, and we're going to see a quick flush lower. Ticks are very heavy to the negative side. SPY on the low. No, it's trying to hold the pivot. I'm out of Apple for now. Give it a second. See if this gets sold here in a second. SPY is just got to wait and see what the SPY wants to do. Looks like it wants to hold the pivot here so far. But we're going to sit tight and wait. Nope. I stopped on Apple. 230 bucks. 1,000 shares. Just sitting here waiting. I tried to see if initially the spot I think was going to break, so I wanted to see if we could catch that move real quick, and it just didn't work, so I got out. If it would have worked, it would have been a real big one. But I just don't see much yet. SQ bouncing. See what this opening range does on the SPY, and then we'll make a decision. SPY still sitting at the VWAP. Apple's trying to come back in here. All right, let's see what this does now. Got the first rejection, and that was basically in line with the former retest, so that's good to see. SPY starting to reject. I'm short again, 178.30s. 178.30s, I'm short Apple. Let's see what kind of move we can get on this here. Yeah, I'll let you know. You just got to listen. It's not going to work, it looks like. I'm going to give this a little bit of room. Give it a few minutes here. Just waiting to see what the SPY does here. SPY is still rejecting VWAP. All right, I'm out. It might be it for me today, guys. It's just the action is just terrible. All right, so now I'm going to sit tight on this until we break this line, which is going to be basically 178. Otherwise, probably not going to trade. It's just too much misdirection. Is what it is. We're down 420 points and everything's bouncing. There's no, it's just all disconnect. So I don't see any alignment anywhere right now. I don't see anything, guys, worth touching. Don't see it. Keep an eye on the SPY at 266. If that holds, we may see a test back to low. But that's going to be a spot that, see if the market gets through that, then it has some potential to run a little bit. But Apple's about to retest the underside of that trend line. But as far as the SPY goes, this 266 level is big. Ticks are still negative. SPY rejecting 266. Ticks are turning back over. Negative ticks. 900. See what the SPY does with this. Now, if it puts in a pivot, here, then it's probably going to run. SQ straight up. SPY rejecting that pivot so far. Looks like it wants to hold. hard to read right now. So I just have to sit tight and wait. So it appears the SPY wants to hold here. It's trying to push to the 266 pivot now. I don't see anything though, guys. Unlikely I'm going to trade now after 2 stops on Apple. Probably going to sit tight. Unless for some reason we turn over and we get back below VWAP, then I'd consider it again, but I don't see it right now. I lost 1,000 on the second trade, 250 on the first, so 1250. Nothing I can't get back in a quick trade though, so we'll see. SPY's now pulling pretty hard here. VIX is up. We'll see. Problem is now though that everything is bounced hard and people are going to try to buy the pullbacks, and then it just makes things choppy. Only thing I'd be interested in is Apple. If the market breaks this 265 pivot, because basically what we're doing here on Apple is we're retesting that macro trend line, and if that holds and starts to pull again, that's basically the retest of the trend line, and that's definitely what you want to see. But SPY needs to break 265. This will be interesting when this line breaks on Apple right here. Let's see if we get any sort of reaction to that. So breaking it right now. SPY pulling. Low is 264.95. SPY pulling. VIX trying to push on the high. SPY pulling. SPY on the low. SPY on the pivot. Let's see what happens here. Just made a new low on the SPY. I'd like to see it close below that pivot. This apple starts to look real good here if the SPY can close below. We've got 3 minutes. All right, I'm short Apple again. I'm short 179.70. 179.70. See if we can get this to work now. SPY took out the low. It's taking out the pivot. Got heavy negative ticks. VIX is on the high. Just a starter. I'll add if we get below VWAP. SPY still pulling on the low. We got room to basically 263 now on the SPY. Heavy negative ticks, 1200, 1300. SPY pulling into the pocket. But I need to see it below VWAP to add. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully this selling will stick. All right, so 179. 179 puts me flat, puts me green. So we'll see that VWAP right here. Thirty seconds to the close. Volume increasing here a little bit on the SPY. Ten seconds to the close. All right, we're closed below. Now, okay. We close below the pivot now. We want to see it pull away from the pivot. We definitely don't want to see a close back above because that would be a false break. So just keep that in mind. Retest is fine, but close back above is not. Yes, it's definitely tricky out there right now. MU, there's no setup on MU yet. Remember, if you guys look at the watch list, it wasn't until we get below this 3380 level to be interested in it. All right, now I'm green. Apple busting VWAP. Covered a quarter right there, 178.60. Green 2000 now. If we get this to continue, this could be good. Added back 178.75. I added back short 178.75. See if we can get some continuation here. SPY's still weak. If we can get down towards 178. It looks like it wants to try a retest here, so careful on it. Ticks are coming back in again. So here's what I'm going to do with this. My break even on it is roughly 179.50 or 60. I'll hold it until there. I'll give it a chance. I'm green about 1,000 right now, so if it gets me back to takes me out, then it takes me out. I'll end it flat, but we'll give it a chance to continue. One more pull away from this VWAP, and it could work, but it needs a little bit more time. It's very close. Yeah, all the action's pretty rough out here right now. We're giving this apple a chance, and it looks like it's probably going to take me out. You know what? I'm going to use. Let's use the 20 moving average. I'm going to use the 20 moving average, unless the SPY closes back above the pivot. Now it's retesting the pivot on the SPY. Nope, I'm still in Apple. My break even is about 50, 179.50, 179.60, somewhere in there. It's a good rejection of the pivot right there. It's close to working. Not out of the woods yet, but I like the lower high. $178-ish, going to be the next target on it. So last relative low, it just tapped. SPY is trying to work for us here, but sit tight with it here for a few minutes, see what happens. I mean, the only reason I traded this again, guys, is it's a huge technical setup on the daily. If this were to work and I didn't try it, it would be very disappointing. So, you know, we're giving it a chance. Market gap's not helping it, but we'll see. SPY starting to try to pull away again. The SPY takes out the low, it should help us out here. All right, that looks better. Some bids out. Covered some there. 178. All right, now we're going to hold on to it. Hang in there. Lena, the daily setup, right? The daily setup. If you look at the daily on this, we've got this major macro channel, right? Major long-term macro channel. Today we broke out of it to the bottom side. All right, when you break out these macro channels like this, you have to watch it. You have to watch it really closely. You know, we were kind of gapping a little bit further than I like below it, but the retest that we had this morning retested and failed, right? So since we failed that, we turned back over here, and the SPY is in our favor. So we wanted to try it. Hang on, I'll try to cover some more here. We definitely want to take another stab at this. I took 2 stabs. I was down $1,200. I kept it pretty tight, you know, relatively, but you know, these are the types of setups that you have to really pay a lot of attention to, because if they start to resolve, they have the best potential of making a big move. So, you know, let's see what it can do here. The SPY, I'm basically going to hold this until I see some sort of bottom put in the SPY, because this has potential to go, I mean, back to lows, really. You know, I definitely don't like getting the day started like that. It's very rare that I would come back to take another trade on Apple or on any stock that I've taken 2 stabs on and lost. It's a very rare occasion I would actually do that, but since we had this big technical setup here, I had to take a stab at it. So, all right, covered a few more there. 177.50. So this is going to turn out to be a nice day. Be a nice nice way to wrap up the day here. Listen, it's definitely not as clean or as nice as we would have wanted it. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, we'll deal with what we've got, right? SPY still pulling. SPY still pulling the low. 263.74 is the low. 263.74 is the low. Awesome, Joseph. Good job. Good work. Now we could see a retest of VWAP, so don't panic. But that's okay. We're well in the driver's seat now. So now becomes a question, where would I stop on this? I really don't have a reason to stop now because I'm well in the profit on it. And basically the 20 moving average is my break even on it. But we're not going to have to worry about that at this point, I don't think. So my eyes are set on, I'll take a few more. I got a few bids out near 177, and then the balance I'm going to stick with here to see if we can get a crack on the SPY. This 263 level breaks on the SPY, and we've got room to the recent downdraft low, which is 259.85. So keep that on watch. 259.85 is but no reason to let this go. I'm up pretty good right now, so I'm gonna try to hang on to this. That 263 level on the SPY is basically a trigger. So if that fires, you should be good. So still kind of grinding lower here, really just waiting on the SPY to break down. That's going to be the determining factor. You can see pops are being sold on it. Wow, nice, 5,500 bucks. Awesome. So last few times I traded Apple, I think one was a $7,000 day. One was about 5, I think. Yeah, 5 just recently. So I'm gonna try to top those 2 days with this one. See if we can get a 10 in front of that number. Out more right there, 177. Looks good. Looks really, really good here. See how this is just going to start going to free fall mode if this SPY breaks. When I added back against the VWAP, yeah, I did. I've got a full position here. I mean, I've been covering as we're moving, but I got to full. So 176, next spot I'm looking. So it's really good. So I would expect to see some sort of support reaction to this 263 level, at least initially. But we'll stick an Apple until we get some sort of confirmed reaction to it. What I think that well, so here's the reason to answer your question there. Why did Apple follow the action on the SPY? So I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but the watch list that I add over there. If you look at the comment section, I talk about where the trade triggers for where you want to watch it. MU never got to that point, right? So there's a reason I put those comments over there. So you know where to look for the stop. Where do you look for the entry? Where do you start looking for the entry? And MU wasn't until below that 3380 level at the bare minimum. Apple had triggered because it has this massive daily setup on it. So that's why we focused on that one. And if you were here about 9:15, after I did the watch list, I said, hey, we got a lot of stocks moving, and this is something that we need to talk about how do you refine it down to what you're going to trade. And remember, I talked about the daily technical setup takes precedent over a lot of other things, and that was where Apple fell. So that's why it remained on the watch. So the entry on Apple was up here near 179, right in through here, 179.40s. Added on the break of the VWAP, on the break of the SPY. Maxwell, for my hotkeys, they're all in Lightspeed, so they don't use scripts, but if you have Lightspeed, you can download my platform on the site. So here, if you look at this, I'm going to put the SPY up over here. All right, so what happened was, as we were breaking down in the SPY, I wanted to see this 265 pivot be taken out. So as we started to sell down here, and I saw the ticks go real negative, I took a position on Apple above the VWAP. So if I look at the fast time frame, so you can get a little bit more granular view, this right here was the time that I took it. And the reason I took it here is because if you look at that time on the SPY, that's where we were starting to resolve lower as we were breaking down through that pivot. So 179.40s, actually I'm sorry, it's right here at 9:55. So broke the 20, started to struggle there, and then as we started to resolve here, that's where the SPY started to pull down through the 265 pivot. So that's where I got short. And right here, look at this. You can see that this is the retest of the daily macro channel. We went right to it, to the penny. All right, and when I saw that reject, that was the first confirmation that, all right, we have some sort of reaction to the daily macro level, and the SPY is pulling. So I'm going to anticipate this move and see if we get it to work now, because the relief had happened. We tested, it failed, and now we're moving back lower. So this is the spot to try it if we're going to try it. I'm okay with this still. I'm fine with this. I don't mind the retest. The only reason I'd be at Apple is look at the SPY right now. We have the VWAP. The 20 is going to be there by the time the SPY gets there, but this is a big pivot, and we now have the VWAP and the 20 sitting there. So if the SPY does close over that, I'll probably close out the balance of the position. But if we reject that, I very well may add back to Apple to see if we can get this continued move down. So we'll give it a chance here. Ticks are back flat. But either way, it's still going to be a nice trade. So we'll just see what happens here. This is actually setting up to be a very nice add back opportunity here, but we've got to watch the market close to see how it reacts to this buy or how it reacts to this pivot. All right, so critical point for the SPY here now. See what type of reaction we get. Friday, the market is a half day, so that's a good point to talk about right now. Tomorrow, Wednesday, it's a full day still, but I will be here for the first hour, and then I'm out of here to travel. But Thursday, the market is closed because of Thanksgiving holiday, and then Friday, it's a half a day. I will not be here. The room will be open. I believe Roberto will be here, but I won't be here. The trading's going to be light, and I'll just give you guys kind of a fair warning now that if you do come to trade, I'd be very cautious. It's never really a day it's never really a day to trade. It's just there's just no action. A nice speed line right here on Apple for a re-add. Right, when you have these speed lines that compress with a moving average or a level or VWAP, definitely a good opportunity. The SPY needs to react though. It's trying to. So Maxwell, for your bailout key, I wouldn't have an offset on it. I don't have offsets on my bailout keys. It's just a market order. Because then you're limiting yourself from getting out. Bailout keys are always market. I'm not convinced the SPY is going to fully reject here, so I haven't added back on Apple. Just giving it a second. This is a real fast speed line here, so this is a pretty aggressive one. A little bit longer term one is this one here. So if that one breaks, that one may be one worth adding, because at that point the SPY should be rejected if it's going to. SPY starting to reject here. All right, so SPY's catching a bid here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this last pivot high as a stop. 179, whatever this is, 179.10, 179.15. That's the stop. So that's going to be the hard stop. It'll be a profit stop. It's definitely rejecting VWAP so far. It's just if the SPY catches a bid here, continues to catch this bid, it's going to be over.